So now, just to remember you the things that we could discuss and things that we can change. So I look to this instrument of football analysis in two different ways. One way is structural dimension. What we see is structural dimension. So the first thing is the tactical system. Normally, every team has a tactical system. I look, the tactical system is an offensive point of view. So we look to the game, and in the beginning, we can see the position of the players. Normally, when we are attacking, we want that the team attacks deep and wide. So you want a big space to play. Normally, was Cruyff. Johan Cruyff, you know Johan Cruyff. He always say, football is finding spaces. That is fantastic word. In football, is finding spaces. But they forget just a little thing, that when we are defending, it's closing the spaces. Huh? But when we are attacking, that is true. We are always looking for spaces. As more we have effective space, we have more space to play the ball. Because the other team wants to take out those spaces. And you can look, when you are in defense, that the team closes the spaces. Normally, he wants to be concentrated. Because we know that the most part of the goals are in this central space. That is the most important thing. Many teams go to around, but after you have to put the ball here. So normally the defensive block is always more concentrated and more, some teams a little more up, sometimes a little more in middle, or sometimes a little low. So that is different ways of defense. But all the teams, so you have here a system that you can look at is 3-4-3, but when you are defending, they start to be 5-4-1. So how the system change when we are attacking, and sometimes how we are defending. You have to look not only for the system, because all the TV, the TV always say, he's going to play 1-4, don't forget the goalkeeper. Okay? Don't forget the goalkeeper. Sometimes we say, we play 4-3-3, okay, but it's 10 players. We play with 11. So we say 1-4-3-3. Okay. This organizing, they are organizing 3-4-3. But when they are defending, these two players, we go down and play with 5-4-1. Only with one guy in front. And sometimes this guy will go here inside. Because, the other team is very good, and we go down, 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 and this guy must put it right there, closing the space there. Okay? So, all the teams too have alternative system of playing. All the teams have. They don't train so much time like the other system. They don't train so much time, but they use it because all the players, all the coaches, when they are losing, they have to change something. They have to change something, and this is my systems. What I'm putting here is how I do it. When I'm losing, I change. I put a little more More guys here, more support of the guys that can strike, and a little more less players in the last line of defense. It's my way of looking. So when you are working with a coach, they have this kind. But you remember this. You can see in Barcelona, when Barcelona is losing, you always put Piqué in the striker position. Always do it. Always. When they are losing. But when they are not losing, they don't put that. It's because the most part of the time they train in this system. And after is an alternative system. Is when something is happening. Okay? So if you have an alternative offensive system, you have an alternative defense system. But the idea is always the same. Attacking open spaces. And when you are defending, it's closing spaces. Huh? Always. The idea, the basic idea of football is very simple. Looks very simple. But it's very complex when you are looking for the different elements. So, after you have tactical missions, inside of tactical system you have tactical missions. Every player have a tactical mission. So, if you see the goalkeepers are very strong, putting the ball very fast on the pitch. But you remember that the goalkeeper, the first mission is to defend the goal line. Sometimes you are so impressed of a goalkeeper that he puts the ball very quickly and make a very good transition, and he can have a good counterattack. Like this one, I don't remember, but like this one, he put the ball almost in the. He put the ball there, and fantastic counterattack. It's the best counterattack in the world. The goalkeeper put the balls in the striker, and he makes the goal. So fantastic. But the first mission of the goalkeeper is to defend the goal line. You don't forget that. Sometimes he was so thinking about attacking that he forget the ball and put the ball inside of the box. You see that sometimes. So another elements, they are the central back. Normally we use one central back or two central backs. So these kind of players are normally very strong in the heading, are very strong how we articulate it and synchronize with our central defender, so we can look that the missions are different. That's why during the training are different for each element. These elements, they are different. Because when we put the training drill, we put the players in this position. When you are training the team, where are you going to put the central defenders? As a strikers? Or a midfield players? No, you put it in system. You work in system. Even if you make ball position, even when I make ball position, imagine that I'm making a drill of ball position. I don't make 5 against 5. I don't make 5 against 5. I make 1. Okay, I put the central defender, I put the right defender, I put the left defender, midfield, and the striker. So I organize the 5 against 5 with these elements. And the other side is the central defender, the other central defender, another right defender, and I work like this. It's 5 against 5, but it's different of any 5. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 5. Okay, you go. 1, 2, 3, 5. Okay, you go. No. No. Because I want that the players specialize this situation in the position. It's a little different. So if I have problems with my two central defenders, they are not articulated, Okay, I put the two and the midfield, and I take out these right defenders and I put on the other side. And because I want these three guys plays, give time. Because sometimes you look for the mistakes and the coach don't know how to use the information and put in a training. That is another problem. But that is the problem of the coach. It's not your problem. Don't forget that. That is not your problem. And don't put it in the middle of a fight, because you're going to lose it. Okay? You only have to give information. And after is a coach that uses this information the way he wants. Don't forget that. Huh? Don't forget that. And after you have the lateral defenders, right and left defender is common, because there is so many different players. There are a little more offensive players, and others there are a little more defensive players. Some are very balanced, good balance of offensive and defensive players. But don't forget the word of defensive. Why you use defensive? It's because the first element is defending very, very well. And after that, if he attacks very well, it's good. It's good, huh? It's very good. It's fantastic. But don't forget that. Because you sometimes can be use it as looking for making scouting to looking players. Okay, I need a right defender. See the word right defender. It's not a attacking defender. It's not attacking defender. It's a right defender or a righting attacking defender. No, it's a right defender. So you are looking, and you go looking, and you see a fantastic right defender that it makes 10 goals or 20 goals a year. He's not a right defender. He's a winger. The guy is a winger. So if you talk with the agent of this guy, you always say like this. You know this guy? Oh, look, so many goals that he makes. Yeah, but how many goals that he defends? That is I want to know. How many goals he defends? I don't have these pictures, because he only gives you pictures of he's an engineer, He's the engineer of the game, It's fantastic. So sometimes I went to see players, and if I have a little talk with the agent, you always say like this kind of things. This player will make you 10 goals a year. Left defender. Yes, but how many he defends? How many times the ball gets in between the left defender or right defender with the central defender? How many times the ball crosses there? Because he don't close inside. He don't close inside. Because he don't know. He don't know. Like, I had this experience looking for a striker. And the guys normally come with the numbers, because now everyone have a computer, have everything. And they can show us pictures. I want a striker. And they tell me, this striker make you 50 goals a year. Fantastic. But after, when you're going to look to this information, he make 40 goals by penalty situation. Only 10 with movements, And for me, for example, how many times he makes the first goal? How many times he makes the first goal? No, he only makes goal when we are winning 3-0. After what? He opens space, he gives space for the others to make goals. No, he's always there waiting for, For me, this type of strikers, no, I don't want it. But it's my idea. But if you are making, sometimes you have to go make some scouting. You look And don't be mistaken that when what they are seeing, you are looking, seeing. That's why I'm always, if you want to buy a player, if you contribute to buy a player, to make a contract of a player, looking, directly in the pitch. Don't use only video clips, because the video clips are always very good, always very good. If I want to sell a player, you think that I'm going to put their wrong video clips? You think so? I'm going to put, look, you have this mistake, don't buy it. Come on, I'm the agent of the player. I only see good things. So, after you have midfield defender, the guy that is a little more defend in the midfield, many players that use this position. This guy is Real Madrid, is a German. Tony Kroos is the guy that gives balance to the team. Always give balance to the team. Always give a way of the defenders can go, especially the right defender and left defender, but he makes always the balance of the team. But he can make goals too sometimes. And you have the midfield offensive players. You have this one here. You know him, so fantastic player. Still a fantastic player. So he's the guy that are always looking for the spaces and try to make the other team unbalanced with passes, breaking passes between the lines of defense. And you have the wingers. So the wingers, normally when you are playing in 1-4-3-3, normally the wingers are very important because the outside game, playing with the space, the corridor, right corridor and left corridor are very important. And this guy too, I think he's Portuguese. And you have the strikers. So normally the team is working with these elements here. Normally is these missions that they have. And the strikers, you have a lot of good strikers. A lot, but when I say a lot, it's not so lot than we think, okay? But we have very good strikers. And you know that the striker is the guy that he gets more money of the team. Normally we say the attackers sell tickets and the defenders win championships. Because the defender, there is no team that is very good in defense that wins champions, wins the league. So another thing that is important that we have to understand is the particularities of the players. Because one thing, the guy is very good, but another thing is how he's working. Physically, and it means that is how he can go up, how he can attack the ball and make a good heading. You see Real Madrid against Juventus, and how far this guy can go. How far? How we cannot ask this to a small guy. He can jump very high, but he never gets there. And you can see his capacity of velocity and endurance. So imagine that football is always developing. And you can see this guy, he can get 33 kilometers per hour with the ball. Not without the ball, but with the ball. And we imagine that these players can unbalance the team because they are so fast. But there is a lot of players with 32, 33 kilometers per hour. Very high. Imagine that you go in a car, you are at 0, and this guy, the first meters are from there. You can have a Lamborghini or if you have, you can give me, I like it. I know that you don't have, don't worry. I cannot take it home, so no problem. And another thing that is important to see is capacity of contact. You see, Messi is a small guy, but they have a fantastic contact because they have a lower center of gravity. So it's very easy to put it down. Because it's difficult because it's always changing their direction, and even if you put your look, you put your weight there, but it passes. It's passive because his center of gravity is so low that he can have a lot of. This I like very much. Look, you know the other guy is the central back of Real Madrid, and he cannot put it down. Okay, so this is elements that I always want to understand when I'm looking for the other team and when I look to my team. The other one is the dominant foot, because when we know the dominant foot, we can close the dominant foot of the other player. If he's a right footer, I can close this side and give him the left side. If he's a left foot, I can do it on the other way. It's closing his left side and giving the right side. Okay? If you really want to stop some guy that is good, you're looking for the dominant foot. What kind of foot? There is players that they play with different foots. That is difficult. The best thing is taking a stick. Maybe with a stick and give him with the stick. Maybe it stops, but you cannot use it. Okay? So, but the other thing that for me is important when I approach the other teams is to look if the player are strong in the head or not strong. Because you can put a guy out of the game. Sometimes I'm a little bit crazy. A little bit crazy. And we can organize how to put it out of the game. You go there, some player go there and say, your mother is there, you know, say a bad thing. And the guy gets crazy. He just forget the ball. He just forget the ball. He's just looking for the guy that he telling a bad word. He forget it. And normally you use it.
Yeah. Did you use it sometime, or you have experience with some people?
I have experience. I have experience of something. When you are looking, if the other guy is a little bit crazy, that is unbalanced in the head. It's not strong, you know. It's a little unbalanced. You can create a scenario that you can put it out. I think you can say this is not fair play. This is not correct. Okay, but in the end, who going to tell you? Who's going to tell you? I already do it. The guy a little bit crazy, and we get some guy that goes to him and he touch him, you know, in the balls maybe. He touch him on the balls or in the ass, and you know. And after, from that real moment, you only think how to get revenge. He's not looking for the ball. He's not looking for the game. He wants to revenge. And sometimes how you revenge? He gonna punch you, and the referee, red card, go. And the other, because it's not strong. It's not well balanced in the head. They can do. The problem is when you have that player. The problem is when you have that player. Huh? Because if the other player is on the other side, but if you have a kind of this player, you are always telling him, keep down, okay, keep calm, huh? Keep calm. Huh? There is a lot of good players, they get crazy in the head. They get crazy. And sometimes the coach don't put it in the game because he knows for that game he's not a correct guy. The guy is good, but he's not for that game. Even the guy that is not strong for some matches that is more fight than a game. Huh? When sometimes there are games that's not a game, it's a fighting game. And we have a guy that, oh, you know, it's a chicken. You always know, it's always, oh. Even during the week we start to feel it that you don't want to play that game. You don't want to play that game because it's raining, the pitch is very hard or very soft, and you have to run a lot, you have to, fight a lot, and it's, I don't want it. Huh? During the week you start to, we cannot prove that he have some injury in the knee. Always like this. And we can see it during the week. He's preparing to, please, don't put me there. Yeah, you understand? So we have guys that are very active. He goes to all the balls. Everything he moves, he kicks. Even if his mother, he kicks the mother. No problem. For him, football is always a fighting. Always fighting. I like this kind of players, but you cannot have 11 players like this because you always finish with 6 or 5 guys.
One enough.
Yeah. So this guy, this type of guys, I had one in my moment in my life. I had one guy like this. But I have a lot of problems because he plays 3 games and stop 2, and after he plays more 3 games and stop more 3, and we had a lot of talk, and use this kind of pictures and say, don't do it here, do it a little more far away from our goal. So many things that we can explain to him. But sometimes he don't listen back. And after, we have these guys that are very calm. Everything is fantastic. And the guys are very round. Everything around him is to kill. I want to kill everything around him. Even sometimes they kick his own colleague. If the colleague is around him, you're going to kick him too. So you have to understand that we have a lot of personality. We have a lot of personalities in the game. And these personalities can be in my team, but it could be in the other team. I have to use this information. I have to use this information. This kind of information is important. For the coach is important. Very important. So this is my view of structural dimension. Why we spend time with this? You are in the league. You are in the league. This is important because after you have to play against them in the first moment, and after you have to play home, you have to play outside. So you keep this, and this is your information that can use it for the next games. This is not work that you're going to do it and after you throw away. You use it, and after you can use it a lot of times. And maybe the coach don't like that team too and can pass the information to another coach that he wants that they win today. Huh? That happens, huh? That happens. But you don't do it. Any information that you have is from the club. It's not from you. It's from the club. Don't do that. If the coach won't use it, or the director, or anyone, or the president use it, it's not your problem. Okay? That is a big difference. That is a line, is a red line there. The information that you have is for the club and for the coach. Even is not for the players. Don't use it for the players. Because I know some agents of the players want to talk with you and you pass the information. Don't pass any information. The only information that you pass is for the coach, the head coach, or the second coach. If you go to the second coach, you understand this? Because you can be fired. For me, it's fine. If the guy is passing information without, I know the guy is fine. Because he cannot pass this information. You understand that? Huh? Okay. After is your problem. It's not my problem. Okay? Because agents want to sell the player with more money and have more information, and they give to the other team, and after he's, maybe he can receive some money too. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's not ethical. Huh? Don't do it. Okay? It's clear there. Don't do it. Okay? Okay? And after, you have the alternative organization of the team. You can look to the yellow cards. If the guy have a lot of yellow cards during the games, if it's the guys normally have a substitution, and what is the normal type of using the players in the team. So you have that information. So yellow cards only depends if you are follow a team. That is important, because sometimes we know that the guy has a lot of yellow cards, and I can tell you very clearly, very clearly, one thing. Even the substitution has patterns. All the coach has patterns in substitution. You looked at the most part of the coaches don't make a substitution in the first 45 minutes. Almost no one. Why don't you? Why do this? They do it if you have some injury, normally. Or if you have some problem with a player that is crazy inside of the game. But normally don't do it. And if you see more specifically, you can see one thing very important. Normally, you always do the same substitution. Almost they do always the same substitution. We make a study during 1 year. We make a study in the university. We make a study and we start to look to the best coaches in the world in different points of the German, England, Spain, and Portugal. Well, sure, Portugal. Not because Portugal is very strong, but because we have to compare. And we see that coaches, different levels, different countries, in the same league, after 5, 7, 10 games, we can see always the same pattern of changing the substitutions. When they are losing and when they are winning. When they are outside of the house or playing inside, you can see it. And normally, you can see the time of the substitution. It's so clear, it's so close. We can see coaches at 60 minutes substitution. 60 minutes. Between 60 and 70 is the most important moment that the coaches. It doesn't matter if he's winning, if he is losing, he's play home or play outside. He's there. Substitution. And what they are substituting? Sometimes they put a little more guy that is more defending and take a guy that is more offensive. They are winning, they are outside. Or sometimes they are losing and put a guy more offensive and take a guy more defensive, and they want to win the game. You can see it so clear because we have patterns. What time you wake up in the morning?
At 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock? And on the Friday, on Friday, 6 o'clock too?
No, I am
Why?
early.
I heard. Okay, you.
Depends for the last night.
We wake up always at same hour. I'm still sleeping, because of the difference of hour. But we know that we have a watch, a biology watch. So we have patterns. No? Some guys don't eat so much in the morning. There is guys that eat a lot in the morning. They say that. Where are guys?